in this January window. What sort of price would they need to pay to possibly pry him away?
Yeah, I think they'd have to pay big money, and very unlikely that this deal will happen now, considering AC Milan are pretty confident that the Netherlands international is very close to signing a new contract. The player himself has admitted that they're on the right path to get this new deal sorted, which would be a new long-term deal to keep him at the San Siro until 2030, with a big increase in his wages as well. So if Man City are to have any chance of signing Reinders, they're going to have to move quickly, and you're probably looking at around the 40 to 50 million pound mark. I don't think AC Milan have got any intention of losing Reinders. They see him as a key man in their side now, and as I said, they're very close to signing him to a new contract. So I think City will have to look elsewhere. But he would be the type of player who would improve that City midfield. He's a box-to-box midfielder, can score goals, which he's shown this season in the Champions League for AC Milan. I think he's got 6 goals and 3 assists in 17 games this season, so that's a pretty good goal scoring record from midfield. But I just think with Milan well down the line with a new contract, I think Man City probably be too late to try and get a deal done for Reinders, and they might have to look elsewhere for this midfield reinforcements that we obviously have been talking about for a while now, that probably most people are suggesting they probably do need to bring in that midfielder just to help the current side and with all their issues that they've got going on.
And Paul, the defense at Manchester City has been shocking. I mean, we know they're without Rodri, but just a matter of Kyle Walker being out of form, obviously dealing with a bunch of injuries. John Stones, there's been rumors of Ruben Diaz on the, with a foot out the door. Do you think City might splash for a big defensive player in January? Is Mark Gahey somebody that they could actually really just go out and say, you know what, we'll pay whatever price it takes to get him in and kind of rejuvenate the side?
Not so sure they will. I think you look at the squad that they've got, and Pep's pretty stubborn at times with what he's got. He'll believe in that group of players that he's got. He's put that group of players together, and they're going through a bad time, and they have to find answers how to get out of that. Kyle Walker's he's had a dip in form, but you look at what he's got in his career. I mean, he signed for Manchester City in 2017. He's such an integral part of that dressing room, and it's hard when you're a player, been there, especially as a goalkeeper. If you're not playing well and you're trying to find form, but your team are conceding goals and everyone else is playing poorly, it's really difficult to find your own form when you're playing in a team that's not playing well. And I think there's too many players at Manchester City like that. If they go for a player in January, they're going to have to make a difference. It's going to have to be a big player. You talked about Reinders there at AC Milan. I wouldn't be surprised if they go and try and exploit Newcastle's FFP, PSR, Gomeres. You look at the way that this season, this is just my thinking, this is nothing that I've heard, I didn't know any news. Tonali and Gomeres, they've struggled to play together. He's tried to play them together in that 4-3-3. It's not worked. We all know about Newcastle's FFP and PSR. I just wonder if they'd test Newcastle with a bid for Bruno. Maybe or maybe not, but that's the type of player. And Mark Gahey could come in, fit in the centre back position. But he changed the team last week, didn't he? Look at he played a 3 at the back, and he's looking for answers. Plays a 4, played a 3. Whether he needs reinforcements in there, we're all questioning Manchester City because they're in foreign territory. We've never seen them here before. The manager's never been there, the club's never been there, the players haven't been there as a collective, and they're all trying to find answers and find a way out of it. And as in the media and in the press, we look at Man City and wow, what's going wrong? It's not a blip now, it's a crisis. They need players, they need this, they need that. They win a couple of games, we might not be talking about them signing anybody in January, but with the injuries that they've got, I think they will. I think they'll go into the market, whether it be for that CDM or the centre half. I think they'll bring in somebody, or maybe somebody who can play in both in a similar way as John Stones. But yeah, watch this space as far as Manchester City are concerned. Don't rule them out of anything just yet.
Moving on to Tottenham, Pete. Pascal Struijk is on Tottenham's radar. They're looking to bring a centre back in January. Do you think they can make a move for the Leeds man in the winter window?
Yeah, he's a good player, Pascal Struijk. We know Tottenham are looking at centre half. I'd be surprised if they went for Pascal Struijk. I'd imagine they would have other defensive targets ahead of him in their sort of wanted list right now as well. Again, he does have a lot of attributes. He's been excellent for Leeds so far this season. I think he's played every single minute in the Championship, and he's built up a good relationship in central defence with the former Tottenham man Joe Rodon. The other side of this, I don't think Leeds will be too willing to lose Pascal Struijk midway through the season as well, especially when they are trying to go for promotion. Struijk is a key man in that Leeds side. Daniel Farke won't want to weaken his squad in the January transfer window. He'll be looking to keep hold of his best players to ensure that they achieve their goal, which is automatic promotion to the Premier League this season. They're well placed at the minute to do it. I'm still confident that they have the squad there to get over the line and get it done. So I would imagine they wouldn't be too keen to see any interest from Tottenham. I can see why he's maybe on the list of Tottenham. He's a left-sided centre back as well. He's got Premier League experience, and he's a good age at 25 as well. But I just think probably Spurs might be looking at other potential centre back targets for the January window. Deals that might be easier to do than Pascal Struijk.
He's not good enough for me either. He struggled in the Premier League with Leeds. You look at the left-hand side when Leeds were in the Premier League, Pascal Struijk and Junior Firpo. 18 months ago, maybe even less, 12 months ago, he was struggling to get in a Leeds side that was playing in the Premier League. Couldn't get into the side. Daniel Farke's made him captain this year, and he's come on to another level, and he's an integral part of that Leeds team. And like what Pete says, they'll struggle to get him out of Leeds because Leeds won't want to do a deal with any of their players, and rightly so, because they're looking to get into the Premier League. So it'd be a tough deal to do, but from a Tottenham point of view, I'm not so sure he's at that level. If he's moving into the Premier League, you look at other clubs, the Wolves, Southampton's, that type of level. For me, he doesn't go into the top 6 in the Premier League, top 10 in the Premier League. He doesn't fit.
I like that correction from top 6 to top 10 there, Paul.
We're nearly there.
Well, it's clear that a goalkeeper signing will happen in January. There's no way Tottenham could go through this window without bringing in a goalkeeper, considering the injuries at that position. Who are the front runners for that signing? Who would you like to see them sign as a goalkeeper?
There's nobody out there at the moment, which is why I disagree. I don't think there's a huge rush. I think Fraser Forster's done okay. I think he's a good goalkeeper. You look at him, you look at the experience that he's got. I don't think for what you're going to get on loan or as an emergency signing now, for what you're going to buy now, you need to buy better than what you've got, and I'm not so sure you do when you look at the options out there. January is always typically, it's a difficult month to do business. They're linked with John Victor, aren't they? The goalkeeper, the Brazilian goalkeeper, played. Remember where he plays his football now? He's on loan. Botafogo. He's on loan at Valladolid last year, I think. He's got a little bit of experience, but you're paying 5 or 6 million for a goalkeeper that's untried and untested at that level. Seen him linked with Anthony Patterson at Sunderland, 24-year-old. He's a good goalkeeper. Not so sure he goes in ahead of Fraser Forster. I'm not sure you trust the goalkeeper that you bring in at that age. He's no doubt a good goalkeeper and he's going to go on to better things. But actually, when you're looking at Tottenham's situation, if you bring in somebody in to support Fraser Forster and give yourself another option, then yeah, but you don't bring somebody in who's not better than what you've already got. I don't think there's a rush, and I'm not so sure they're going to rush into the market and get one in January. Fraser Forster had an opportunity, and he's still got an opportunity between now and January to give the club a decision as to whether they go and get another number 1 or a number 2. I don't think I think they'll go and get somebody, but I don't think it'll be a big marquee signing because I just don't think there's anybody out there in January that would fit the bill.